Good morning, everyone. Today is April 6, 2019. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and the biggest for me is, how do I really feel about my GS relatives? I almost have to put them into the corner of my mind on a day-to-day basis and navigate my world as normally as possible. Just carrying through. And I came face to face with the fact that no matter how peaceful you could be, how calm you could be, there is the tangible taste of anger. And for me, anger could be disruptive anger that produces nothing, or it can be anger that has a foundation of righteous anger. And I border on both of them. And I find that when I'm angry, as long as it's not disruptive, I become more proactive in my thinking. I think everyone's different, and I'm no longer going to model myself after the values of the world. As long as I remain honorable, keep to the rules of the land, regardless of what's going on. But that doesn't mean that I have to be a robot of it. I will be proactive on it. I've examined everything. I've examined all the material that I could look at about people's version of God. I've looked at the words that are talked in New Age and even in the Bible. And I've come to my own conclusions and my own truth. I'm not going to espouse to anything to anybody any longer, because you know what? It just brings on more controversy and a lot of unnecessary dialogue. It's my world that other people affected me when I was a kid growing up. I don't have any bitterness now. It's just a reflection. And I take responsibility for later in my life where I didn't know one thing from the other, because I lived in my head in this non-real experience because of all the trauma that came my way. I was almost like two personalities. You would see the real me in those moments. And the other times, I would still look the same. I'd do the same. I was a good worker, but in my head, I was in a very different frame of mind. The real me came out with GS. And even then, I struggled with this new me that was wanting to come out, and then I got into this, we're entrenched throughout our life with stuff. What to believe in, how to act, how to do this, how to do that. And some of it could be good for some people, but there were so many contradictions in my growing up. So I look at everything like with a real reality based, and who I am now is, it's there. I just have to accept it for what it is. So I'm just walking along, looking at my environment, Really interesting for an early Saturday morning. But I just wanted to get out of the house early so that I could start my weekend with a different frame of mind, because weekends becomes, I call it the crazy time, because everybody's home and they go into cuckoo mode. But they're cuckoo every day, you know. And I just don't play into their idiocy. The only time that I sort of fail is when I'm very tired. And now I've learned my lesson, just to shut the day down and just relax, and it's helped me enormously. But when it comes to my feelings about these relatives, especially when I listen to Maria Gordon's most current video about her feelings, about what her relatives did to her or her family, I would say that if I'm going to be honest with myself and with anybody, I do have a deep core of disgust with them. I really do. And I'm trying to avoid the word hate, because I do believe that because they hate you, they do. I don't want to return that hate, because then they've won that whole arena. I just would say that I'm disgusted and I dislike what they do. I'm just not giving them anything anymore. An insight as to what I'm doing or not doing, because that way they become, in their minds, the victor. Because I've had to work out a system of where I would not be impacted as much by their actions at this point through the use of different things. It's for my own protection, my own health. And I'm not below myself to say there's some things I could pull that they would be at a loss. They would be. But the point of it is that I feel the same way that she does. But I have to be careful, because I live in their house, in my own apartment. I still have not reached that place financially, nor have I reached that place of where I've let go of the fear of the unknown when it comes to the rental market, which is really bad here. So there's a lot of things that I'm still working out in my mind. You know, that's why they keep you busy with all these distractions, because you can't get to the core of getting better, or to the core of getting on with business. That's all the distractions they do. And I refuse to become a part of their distractions. I have a policy now. I don't answer the phone. I don't answer text after a certain time early in the evening, because I know that I will get it's usually the weekends I get the text from the relatives about something so that they can gain insight. I refuse. Anyways, I'm going to close this off before I ramble on and on. To all TIs, stay safe.